Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well and doing great. So, before we start with anything, guys, let me introduce myself. My name is Deepak. I have 15 plus years of experience in this field. I have designed and developed solutions for various organizations, and I have certain patents on my name. Along with that, I have delivered more than 35,000 trainings so far. So, we are going to talk about GCP and Google Bigtable. This is basically the agenda for today. Today we are going to talk about why Google Bigtable. Before that, we are going to talk about a little bit basic about what exactly is the cloud computing, what exactly is the GCP, the key features, the architecture, data model, and the use cases. So that's going to be the agenda for today. So let's get started. Let's talk about GCP. What exactly is GCP? So before we talk about GCP, let's take a step back and let's understand what exactly is cloud computing. If you're able to understand this, you will be able to understand any of the cloud technology. So let's talk about cloud computing. And before talking about cloud computing, let's understand what exactly is a cloud. Cloud basically is a service through which you can share your files, host your data instead of your on-premise directly on the cloud. What was the need of the cloud? Now, if you are going to pay attention for next 5 minutes and you are able to understand this thing, you will be able to understand any sort of cloud technology. If you're a newbie in this, you never heard about this, what exactly is cloud, and also next 5 minutes is going to change your entire life if you are able to pay attention right now. So let me give an example and let's understand the evolution. So in the earlier days, like a couple of years ago, whenever you have to share the file with someone else, how you're going to share the file? You will require a physical medium. Like you can have two computers, you can connect via the LAN, and you can share the files. Or you have to have a dependency of a physical media like floppy disk or pen drive. You have to put the data in that drive, and then you can copy and paste it into the other drive. That was the thing we used to do. But think about it, if we had to share the file to someone in a real time, and that person is located in a different country, different city, and he is very far. Let's say you are in India, that person is in the US. What are you going to do? Some people will say that I can courier it out. That's fine, but you will not be able to send it to the real time. Like that person, let's say, needs some file. Maybe he needs some softwares, some data, some, let's say, PDF file, which is of heavy size. How you're going to share it with him? If you're going to ship it through the external drive, it will take time, maybe a couple of days, but that person need that file at that moment. How are you going to do it? So with the help of cloud, what we do is we basically store our data and that can be accessed anywhere. So that's the terminology for cloud that we used, store and access anywhere. Wherein you store your data on the cloud and it can be accessed to anywhere. You can, share your files to different people. They have access of it and they can download it, which is a good thing. Now, in the case of cloud computing, that's again one of the good thing that was emerged. So we got a very good response from the market. Now we realize that that's a good thing that we can do with the cloud. But what's next we can do? Like how exactly we can evolve more, how basically we can make the people life easier. So for that, what we did, we realized that people can access the data in real time, but when they want to make the updates, it becomes an hassle. After getting a feedback, we try to get the solution for it. Let me explain you the problem statement. What happened is, let's say there is a big company, they have multiple branches all over the globe, and some people, let's say, are working in a sales department. What they are doing is they are updating their client information on a daily basis about the potential client, the clients with whom they are able to make a gig and all, in the, let's say, some folder. Now let's say the person in India is working for a client whose name is ABC. That again company has a branch in US as well, and the person who is in US is also working with that client. Now the updates were done by the Indian person during his daytime, and that was a US night time, so he was not aware. Next day, when US day started, at that time Indian day was ended, he was not aware. That US person is watching that file. What he realized, oh, who made these updates? He thought that maybe unintentionally he made the update for that ABC client. So he modified the file. Now no one was aware that who is modifying which file, who is accessing the data. Now we thought that that's again a tedious thing, but we can resolve it by having multiple copies. It sounds easy, but not that easy. Just think about it, that a company which have, let's say, more than 100,000 employees, are you going to create 100,000 file? It's not going to be easy. Then I have to see what kind of sales we had done, what kind of enhancement we had done. You will not be able to make those changes 100,000 times. Even to read the data from 100,000 file is going to be very tedious. Now, in the case of cloud, we we evolved more, and cloud basically gave us an option wherein you can just store your data on the Excel file, wherein the people can read, write, and access data in the real time. Now, even though if my cursor is on the third row, it's going to show up my name to the other person who is going to access that that file. So that was the biggest achievement, wherein now instead of making multiple copies or instead of losing the data, we are going to have the record of everything. That was again one of the biggest evolution in this. After that, we realized that what's next. We are able to reach this milestone. We are able to make a great changes. We got a great feedback. Now what's next we can do? Now, I'm going to tell you the two problem statement, guys. If you're able to understand these two problem statement and the solution statement that I'm going to tell you, it's going to make your entire concept very clear about it. And because that's the stage where we are right now. Let's say there is a person who was working in a company. His age is 65 years. He was working in a big company, and that person realized that I want to open my own company. So he resigned. He opened his own startup. He's a software developer. So what he did, he registered his firm, and he hired 10 people. And again, since he opened the startups, he does not have that much budget. So in order to save the money, he purchased 10 laptops which were very old, lower configuration. Let's say dual core with 2 GB of RAM, 150 GB of hard drive. He purchased those laptops since they were not so expensive, and he gave to his employee. Now he got one project with one of the organization wherein they want him to develop a project, let's say using maybe C sharp with different features like C sharp. Along with that, they want to use Ajax toolkit and different connectors. And the duration of the project, let's say they have given to him is 6 months, and the cost that they are going to, they are ready to pay him is $20,000, which is a good money. Now, this guy realized this, in order to develop that project, he will require certain softwares, but those certain softwares are not compatible with the existing their hardware configuration. In order to install, let's say Visual Studio, he will require 4 GB of RAM. He will require multiple database servers and all. The hardware that that their employees are holding, I mean, the 10 of the employees are holding are not compatible. Along with that, they are running legacy configuration of processor, which is even not compatible. It's going to make things very super slow. Plus, they are using the legacy operating system like Windows 7 and all. Maybe it's end of life. So it's going to be very difficult. Now, what he is going to, use in this case is, like what he can do now. He can purchase a new laptop, but he's going to purchase a new laptop. Then in that, it's going to become a new investment for him. That was the, entire thing. I mean, he's going to come back to the square one because he does not have that much budget. That's why he purchased an older laptop. Now he has to get a new laptop, again, more investment. Plus, he has to get new laptops. He will need someone to maintain those laptop, some IT operation person. Along with that, he has to pay for the license as well. Like if he has to get Windows 10 installed, he has to pay for the license. Now, this is just for 6 months project. Now, what after 6 months, he got another project wherein, let's say that project was of 1 or 2 years, and that project can be built easily with the lower configuration. Now, what he will do? His money is wasted, right? That's the first problem statement. Now let me tell you the other problem statement. Let's say there is a person whose name is Mr. XYZ. He work in a bigger organization, very big organization, very big MNC. And let's say it's a $20 billion company, and this company has all the resources. So this company is not a startup or something like the first company. So they don't have budget constraint. So this guy joined as solution architect, wherein his responsibility is to understand the company's environment, and he has to basically build the solution for the company. Now, what this guy, has done is he got this company got a project for a bank. Now, in order to build the, entire infrastructure for the company, he got the entire requirement. He got a greater laptop, let's say 1 TB of solid state drive, 16 gig of RAM, i7 processor, Windows 10. He got a superb laptop. But now he, being a solution architect, he has to build the environment for the company just to showcase them how their environment is going to look like. For that, he will require, let's say, two Windows Server 22, two Windows Server 2019, two Linux server, two database server, all those kind of things that he needs basically. Now, in this case, what will happen that this guy can, let's say, some people will think that, yeah, it's easy. We can have dual boot, but it's not easy because if we require, let's say, 8 operating system, you are going to reboot your operating system 8 times. In the worst case, let's say you're able to manage to do it. How you're going to run all these 8 operating system in parallel? I can tell you the solution. You can have virtual machine, but that's not it. You will not be able to run 8 virtual machine in parallel with 16 gig of RAM and 1 TB of SSD. So what this guy has to do is he will require more laptops, or he will require external hard drive on that he can build a virtual machine. So let's say this project that this bigger company got was a very big project, let's say $1 million or something. So in order to get a good, I would say, reputation in the client and the company, this guy, the solution architect, he worked day and night for 2 months, and he built the entire project on 3 laptops. Now, when he was traveling, let's say he lost one of his laptop. Maybe during the flight, when he was boarding or deboarding the flight, he lost his laptop. And when he reached to the client location to showcase to them, he will not be able to show the entire solution. It's going to be very embarrassing because he is not representing as an individual, he is representing a company. So it's going to become a nightmare for him, where he lost the entire laptop. He will not be able to showcase anything, which can become a very big issue and the name and fame of the company as well as the employee. Now, what we can do in this case is, like, again, it sounds very difficult, right? What we can do in both the problem statement that you have listened to right now, cloud basically can give you the advantage. In the first problem statement, what you can do is you can build a virtual machine on the cloud itself, wherein even though where the 10 people were working in the organization and they were using the lower configuration laptop, there is no need to purchase extra new laptops. There is no need to purchase a license for lifetime. There is no need to purchase dedicated support engineer who is going to maintain it. You can spin up your resources on the cloud. You can decide that what kind of RAM I need, what kind of hardware specification I need, how much RAM I need, how much hard drive I need. Do I need a solid state drive? I need a normal hard drive. What exactly the configuration I'm looking for, what is the even operating system I need. All of the configuration you basically can define, and you can spin up the virtual machine. Now you can download the virtual machine as a RDB file, remote desktop file, as a one phase, or you can basically give the access of your cloud to the other people. Now they will be able to access your entire cloud environment from their system. So wherein they don't have to purchase a new laptop, they are just going to log into their laptop machines like a normal machine, and they are going to double click on the RDB file, or if you have given the cloud access directly, they are going to go to the browser and will be able to access from there. Now it's going to be service where they have to pay for the consumption. Now after 6 months the project is over, they can decommission the entire cloud drives, and whatever they have consumed they have to pay for it. And it's going to even save the money. Like I said, after 6 months, this guy has to he got another requirement wherein the project is going to take 1 or 2 years, and that can be easily built using his on-premise environment. So it's going to be an easy thing for him, right? Now, for the second use case where the guy even he was traveling with multiple laptop, what he can do is he can leverage and build the entire infrastructure on the cloud itself. Once he has built the entire infra on the cloud, then whenever he is going anywhere, there is no requirement for him to even carry bulk of laptops. Even he can go empty-handed. Think about it, where he was traveling with bulk of hardware. Now he can travel empty-handed without any kind of hassle, without no much of investment from the company side. It's going to be have a greater experience from the company. Even though, let's say, he was traveling with a laptop, he lost his laptop, he can directly go to the customer side, he can log into his account, and he can showcase a solution. That's the stage which basically created the entire evolution in the industry where we are right now. We have different cloud platform. Like, for example, today we are talking about GCP, which is a cloud platform from Google. Similarly, different cloud platforms are there. Like Microsoft have provided their own cloud platform, which is known as Azure. Your Amazon has provided their own cloud platform, which is AWS. Like IBM have their own. Likewise, we have so many cloud platforms in the industry. So that's the place where we are. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing basically, a way through which you can store your data and access your data anywhere with the help of internet connectivity. That's the place. Even you can do a lot of things in the cloud now. You can create your own internal network, virtual network segments. You can have your VLANs, each and everything. Same kind of stuff can be done in the cloud, at a very easily. So what is a cloud computing? Cloud computing is an on-demand self-service wherein whenever you need to spin up the resource, to create the resource, you can just do it as per your need. There is no need to pay any, depending on anyone, extra resource. You can just, do it. You just have to pay whatever you use, and you will be able to, spin up the resources very easily. Second is broad network access. So like on your on-premise environment, it's going to be available with some, VPNs and all. So in the case of cloud computing, you can access it from anywhere. Next is the resource pooling. So if you want to create a clustering, you want to build a replica, you want to have redundancy, that's going to be easily available. Next one is basically rapid elasticity. So if you want to scale up or scale down the resources, you can do it easily. Next one is a measured service. Whatever you consume is measured and you're going to pay for it. Clear? Now, what is GCP? GCP is a Google Cloud Platform Service which is provided by Google, wherein they use their same infrastructure that they use for the business user. They are providing to the end users now. Now, before we talk about Google Bigtable, what is a good Google Bigtable? Let's understand why Google Bigtable. So Google Bigtable basically provides you a lot of advantages. It has a lower cost as compared to the standard table that we have. It's an open source, so you can make the customizations very easily. It has a greater performance and it has a greater security. And if you want to, increase the resources, decrease the resources, you can do that, very easily. Now, what exactly is a Google table? Let's talk about it. So Google Table, or I would say Google Bigtable, it is a compressed, high-performance, proprietary data storage system built on Google File System, so SS table, and few other Google technologies. And when there are various customers in the market who are using it, if you talk about customers like PayPal, your Twitter, Procter and Gamble, your Airbus, your UPS, Sky, Blue Apron, so many customers are currently using it. If you talk about some of the key features of this, so it basically have high throughput and the low latency. Basically, the low deal, the less delay you are going to have. You can basically create the cluster wherein if I want to have multiple resources in the cluster, I want to create, let's say, 10 resources, 20 resources. I can resize the cluster. I can increase or decrease the resources without having any kind of downtime. Now, generally, you are doing in a in your on-premise environment, you want to increase the resources, you want to decrease the resources. It's going to take a while, right? In this case, it can be done very easily. Last one is flexible and automated replication, wherein you can just turn on the replication. It's going to replicate to the other data center at the other data site automatically without having much human intervention. Now, if you talk about architecture in general, that's basically the way it looks like. That's basically the way at the back end it's built. You basically have a client on the front end who is going to use the service. He's going to interact with the front end server pool. Now, this front end server pool is going to have multiple nodes at the back end. You can even create a cluster. These nodes can be clustered with each other. Whatever the data that you're going to have at this node, it's going to be replicated to this node. So likewise, you can just create a multiple cluster with n number of nodes depending on your requirement. However, you have to pay for it. So more you utilize, the more you have to pay. At the raw end, it's going to have SS table, which is going to store your raw data, and it's going to have a shared log wherein, because this is a cluster environment, so all the logs are going to be created in a shared repository. You can even build up an NTP server as well using NTP protocol. So sorry, you can build up a NTP server as well, wherein you can just keep the time of all these servers consistent, and you can build a syslog server as well, wherein you can just export the logs of all of them to a central environment, and wherein you can just read it easily. Here. Now, this is again, like I said, guys, this is an overview that we're talking today. So if you want to know how the course journey is going to look like, if you want to enroll for the course, so in the very first class, we basically talk about, what is GCP and with a specific hands-on. In the next class, we talk about how you can manage Google Cloud Platform and with this respective hands-on. In the next class, we're going to talk about Google Cloud Platform Virtual Network, basically, with the perspective hands-on. In the next class, we're going to talk about the security and identity fundamentals, identity access management, how you can manage all this kind of things with the perspective hands-on. In the next class, we talk about compute service, what are the different compute service basically that it supports with the perspective hands-on. In the next class, we talk about data storage services with the hands-on. And in the next class, we talk about architecting with Google Kubernetes engine with the hands-on on it. In the next class, we talk about application development, with the specifically hands-on. Then in the next class, we talk about big data and AI services with the perspective hands-on on it. And in the last class, we basically talk about automation with the perspective hands-on. Now you basically see that everywhere in every case, we are talking about, some hands-on. For each and everything, we are basically have the hands-on. So it's not like that we are just talking about the theory. Along with the theory part, for everything, we basically have the practicals available, so that you basically can get more understanding about it. Because like I said in the beginning, guys, along with the theoretical knowledge, it's basically very important to have the practical knowledge, and that's something we take care of it. So along with the theoretical knowledge, we basically have a practical knowledge as well. You basically deliver each and everything, and we basically talk about it, so that you can get a fair understanding. And like you said, at any point in time, if you have any kind of doubt, any questions, any concerns, you can basically reach out to us, and you can even ask the question from us as well. Okay, now let's talk about data model. Let's again a very small demonstration of data model. So a big table basically is a sparse, distributed, persistent, multi-dimensional sorted map. So the map is basically indexed by a row key, column key, and a timestamp. Each value in the map is an uninterpreted array of bytes. As you can see here, every basically a value is basically in the map is uninterpreted array of bytes. Now there are multiple use cases. Some of the use cases are basically like marketing data. You can basically use it for marketing stuff. You can just use it to perform the analysis on your financial stuff. You can just basically use it on IoT data, which is Internet of Things, which it basically means that you are going to combine different technology just to build up a one technology. You can have a time series data where the data is going to be in a series. You can have a graphic data wherein you can have certain graphs, you can have certain illustration, and with the help of this you will be able to build the things. So that was all about it, guys. It's an immense pleasure to connect with you guys, and thank you again for joining, and wishing you all of you a great evening ahead.